I think I'm a special one.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
This is episode 15 on the Half-Turn Podcast. What's up, Chad?
What's up, Andrew? We're back at it.
Yep. It's a bit different setup. So Chad's back in the stew.
Back in the studio.
Back in the stew. Welcome.
Feels good to be back.
Yeah. So we're filming normally we do it on Zoom when Chad's away, but we figure we'll just keep doing it on Zoom. So we're facing it's a little bit different of a setup, but we're ready to go.
Yeah, I see you got your wristband on.
I got my Added Time Outfitters wristband on.
Don't have mine on. But...
Yeah, no, I got to give you one. Chad's got his Santa hat on.
Feeling festive.
Yep. It's Christmas Eve today, so we're filming this on Christmas Eve. So episode 15, Chad, what are you wearing?
Wearing an old Chelsea kit. Not sure what year this was.
That's
I think it was one of your old ones.
Yeah,
but
it's looking like a 2011, 12. Like
the first person that comes to mind when I see this is Juan Mata. So
no, this is definitely
this is Juan Mata era.
That's early Juan Mata. I'm thinking like Michael Essien, Florent Maluda, Solomon Kalou, John Obi Mikel.
I think those guys were before
Lampard, Terry. That I like that Chelsea team, man. They were good. Ivanovic. That's me. I'm a poor man's Ivanovic.
Yeah. So what are you wearing?
So I'm wearing
drink that coffee.
This is a 2012 like alternate third kit, Philadelphia Union. It has a Kugo 14. If you listen to all the episodes, you know that one of my favorite players, Amobio Kugo. We drafted him first year the Union was coming into the league out of UCLA. And I don't know if it was just because he was like a young player. He was like good in the midfield. And then like he really kind of like broke out into the team in like 2012. And he was just like my favorite player. I don't know. He was always like, he was interactive with fans on Twitter. Maybe that's why I liked him so much. And yeah.
One of those guys that you thought was going to be really good. But
he wasn't. All right. He still had like a decent career. He started for Portland for a few years. Good MLS player. And I love this jersey. Like, it looks cool. I wear it to every game.
To every Union game.
We're winning the Supporters Shield. I'm still, like, rocking this, like, 2012 kit.
See, I have so many Union jerseys, but I end up just getting them, like, they're always signed.
Yeah. Which is weird. But.
Yeah, like, I get my jersey signed, I guess, which it kind of ruins them because you can't
really you don't want to wear them.
But
yeah. So, it's good to be back. Last episode 14, we recapped the national team camp in Europe. They played Wales and Panama. Today, we're going to be recapping their game against El Salvador. They played in Miami. Basically, all MLS guys. Big win. So, not a whole lot to talk about. We'll kind of go through each player like we did last time, maybe like how we see them fitting into the team. I don't want to like recap the full game. And then we'll talk like some MLS news, MLS Cup. And then after this one, we'll have a bunch of like really good kind of informative podcasts coming up. So yeah, you want to get into it?
Yeah. You want to start with the U.S. game or?
Yeah, I'll start with the U.S. game. So they won
6-0.
6-0. Let's go to El Salvador first. They weren't good. It really stinks that we had to schedule them. Like it, yeah. I would rather play anybody else.
I mean, it's okay, but it sucks that we didn't have a second game to play. Usually, like, games come in twos, and
yeah, it's hard to take a ton because they were bad. But if Berhalter comes in and he says we want to be the progressive team, we want to dominate the, like ball circulation, put teams on their back foot, like that's what we did. Like if you can't do it against a bad team, you're not going to do it against a good team. So some people like at whatever level you play, they come in and they get a few goals and they're just playing the game. But like we dominated the game. We kept our foot on the gas. Like that's a good thing.
Especially with like a second team.
Yeah. I don't even think these were all of our best players in MLS. Most of them are young guys.
Younger players. I don't think Bill Hamid touched the ball once.
Yeah. So read the goal scorers first.
Areola, Chris Mueller had 2. Leggett had 1. Akinola had 1. And then our boy Brendan Aronson had one.
Yeah, that was the only goal of the second half, I think. It was 5-0
Yeah,
at
it was
half.
5-0 at half. Aronson
So,
had an assist too.
So do you want to go through just like each player? We'll just kind of break it down, how we see them
Yes.
fitting into the team
You
long term.
watched the game more recently than I have.
Yeah.
You just finished watching the game like this.
Well, I'll tape the game and then I like watch it in like 15-minute increments, which like might not be good as like a flow standpoint. Like, oh, he's finding these pockets of space or whatever. But like, I get to like break it down and like sometimes I'll rewind and see how plays started and stuff.
So I don't really remember much from the game, but you want to start with the defense?
Hamid. So we started with Hamid in goal. You know, he didn't touch it much, but that's what you asked for a goalie, right? Distribution was okay. What do you think of Julian Araujo? Started at right back, young guy, plays for the Galaxy.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't remember him.
I like him. I think he's good. The U.S. is deep at right back, but in terms of guys in MLS, Araujo is solid. Like, he's feisty. He'll get up the field. It's a guy to keep an eye on, I think, because that's a guy who would probably move to Europe at some point. But in the next year or two, like, he seems like he's going to be a starter for the Galaxy. Keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm.
Center back partnership of Aaron Long, Mark McKenzie.
Does McKenzie usually play on the left?
For the Union, he does.
He does. Okay.
So, makes sense. So, Aaron Long, I think, is just like a solid guy. I don't think he's ever going to – like, if you're sitting down to watch a game, you're never going to be like, wow, look at Aaron Long.
I
Like,
love Aaron Long.
Really?
Like, he's just like a sweeper back there. Like, anything gets played in behind, he's the type of guy to like sweep things up.
Yeah. So I think you plug Aaron Long into like almost any game the U.S. will play, and we'll be all right. Like, he's not terrible.
He's gonna be center back option. Like,
yeah, he's going to be an option. I don't think he's going to be the guy. But
yeah.
Left center back was Mark McKenzie. Obviously, we both rate him highly from the Philadelphia Union. In most U.S. lineups, it's probably going to be John Brooks as the left center back. But, you know, McKenzie's right-footed. He could play right center back as well. Mm-hmm. He's good, man. He really doesn't mess up much at all. Mm-hmm. His distribution's good. Like, he's so good at stepping into midfield and winning balls. So hopefully, I think we've talked about his transfer on here a few times. Like, hopefully, if he does move, it's somewhere good that he could develop. Left back Sam Vines.
I've liked Sam Vines. Did he play in the USL at all? I don't know. I feel like I liked him early, and then started seeing videos and stuff about him, and then it's cool to see him on the national team now.
Yeah, and he's a young guy, right? How old is he? What is he? He's 21. Yeah. So like, a guy like that, like he looks the part. Like, you watch him, he's like he fits, he gels with the team. Like, I could see him as being called into future camps. Like, a lot of people are too quick to be like, oh, who's your first team 11? Well, it's hard to tell. But if you pencil Vines in as like a potential call up every time and he's young, like, that's fine. And who knows? Like, a guy like Sam Vines, he could not get another call up or maybe be a fringe call up guy for the next 3 years. He doesn't play in Qatar 2022, but he'll be a pro for another 10 or 12 years. You know what I mean? So, like, a guy like that being established in the team is a good thing.
He's got like 2 years MLS under his belt already.
Yeah. Yep. Jackson Ewell is the number 6. So it's a controversial one.
He's like,
a lot of people don't like him. He plays for the San Jose Earthquakes. Like, feisty defensive midfielder. I thought he played well.
You think he's feisty? I thought he was more like a Will Trapp kind of guy. And
yeah, but he like,
you know, U.S. soccer fans do not like Will Trapp.
Well, first
Michael
of all,
Bradley,
those
guys.
They fouled Jackson Ewell like 5 times. One, I think he was holding on to the ball too long, but he also knew the foul was coming. One time he got fouled and didn't get the call, and they started a counterattack, which sucks. But I thought he was good. He had one really nice long ball to the right wing. I think it might have been like Areola. And he was like, he had good passes. He lost the ball a couple times. But, like, when you're playing through your defensive mid so much, which I'm not a huge fan of, like, you're going to lose the ball and you're going to give away counterattacks.
Yeah.
So I like what I saw from Jackson. You know, that's another guy that I'd be like, okay, call him up again. Like, I wouldn't put him in my first 11 or first 18, honestly, but like, a guy like that could compete in every camp.
Yeah, you saw.
Legit, probably
Mr. USMNT.
Yeah, he's probably the best player on the field in this game. He's smooth with the ball. Like, if you play him as an advanced center mid, so whether it's like an 8 or a 10, he's gonna create chances or score goals.
Or a false 9.
Not a false 9. No, not a false 9.
Wants him to play.
like, there's not much else to say. Like, he's really good. He's like smooth. Yeah, Aronson was good. Aronson doesn't give the ball away a whole lot, and when he does, he presses so quick to win it back.
I think Aronson, you could see in that game, just he needs to find the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, you see it with the Union too. He's like not that he gets lost, but like he's running. He doesn't find the ball or demand the ball. Part of it's probably because he's not really like a force. Like, he's so small. He's like,
yeah. But when he does get the ball, he contributes like in this game, and you see it with the Union. So.
Yeah. So on the wings, we had Paul Arriola and Chris Mueller. So it's cool to see Arriola back because he tore his ACL. I like you can't hate Paul Arriola.
No.
You could just be kind of annoyed that he's just like.
Yeah, he's a quality player though. Like, I mean, maybe when he first started with the national team, people didn't like him. Like, you were definitely one of the guys that didn't like him.
I didn't hate him.
He's good.
Yeah, I think people see like a fast, like feisty work rate winger, and they're like, oh, like he's not a soccer player. He's just a workhorse. But like, he could play soccer.
Dude, he could play really good with our European guys too.
Yeah. Mueller on the other side is so interesting. Had a crazy good season with Orlando City. Like, I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good too. He's I don't know. He's like a different type of player than
I've heard
that we've called up.
I don't know if I was telling you this. I've heard people compare him to Thomas Mueller, the American Thomas Mueller.
Just because they have the similar names or the same name?
That's actually pretty interesting too. I didn't think of that, but like the way they're like, they can play on the wing, like kind of plays like a number 10 though. Like finds pockets of space, like kind of fox in the box a little bit.
I like him because like he's the type of guy you give him the ball and
he's not going to lose it.
He wants to like create things.
He'll like whip it across.
Not someone who's like I'll keep the ball, I'll pass it back here. He wants to turn and like take players on. So I love players like that.
We've been actually really high on Chris Mueller since he was in college. You remember that?
Yeah.
We were sitting down here in our basement, like.
Make it sound weird. Down here in our basement.
I'm watching some games. I don't know. It was a U.S. Open Cup game, and he was playing in the PDL for Chicago United, I think. At the same time, he was a player at University of Wisconsin, who's always really good. And this Chicago United team beat – was it FC – did FC Christos beat them? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So FC Christos, when they went on their crazy run to play DC United, the men's league team out of Maryland, they played Chicago United, who was a PDL team, obviously, in Chicago. Chicago United got there because they beat somebody else in the USL, I forget. So it's set up for like a PDL versus like a men's league, basically. It was a good game.
It was in Chicago, right?
Yeah. It was at Loyola, Chicago, I think.
Oh,
and Mueller played well. Like, he like took all the set pieces.
He was like the best player on the field.
Yeah. And
I remember we didn't like him at first because we were like, who's this
yeah,
guy?
well, he's like, tough guy with like a buzz cut and probably wearing like long sleeves or whatever. Probably the number 10.
He tapes both his wrists.
Akinola up top. Yeah.
We were just arguing about this.
Yeah. So he started up top, and actually, ironically, like yesterday, he got called up to the Canadian national team. So I don't know if he's going to have to do like a one-time switch or who's he going to pick. It's part of like Greg's recruitment there.
I feel like it'll be best for him to play for Canada.
Jonathan
that's
David.
His best chance.
I don't think Akinola will ever be good enough to be a starter for the U.S., but like he's okay. He runs the channels well. Like they even moved him onto the wing for a few minutes.
I'll be honest, like, I'm not saying we have a whole lot of like quality strikers with the U.S., but like we have a lot of decent strikers for the U.S.
Well, that's how you get good. You have a bunch of guys, and then hopefully one of them hits, or you develop them, or something.
DK is better than Akinola.
Yeah, I was actually really looking forward to watching Daryl DK from Orlando City.
He got hurt.
He got hurt like the day before the game. So, yeah. So let's go to the subs.
Who came on? I don't know how to pronounce his name. You do it.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if I get this right. Djordje Mihailovic.
Yeah.
Plays for Chicago Fire. It actually just got sold to Montreal for like $1 million. He comes on. He's like a technical, kind of a 10, kind of a winger.
Nah, he's like an 8.
I don't know, dude. He's been playing on
the
wing.
Fire. He has been. But hopefully he doesn't listen to this because I've never really liked him.
Maybe we'll get him on the
I
podcast.
don't know. I just never thought he really did anything in the games. We went to a Union Chicago Fire game and didn't see anything from him.
That's when they had Bastian Schweinsteiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a guy I don't think has like a national team future. He's been in a couple of Berhalter camps, but like he'll get called in every once in a while. He's going to be like a solid MLS player.
Kellen Acosta.
I was big on Kellen Acosta like a few years ago.
He was a return after like 3 years.
Yeah, he was a right back, then he was a left back, and then like defensive mid. People actually thought he was like the future left back a couple of years ago. He's been playing defensive mid, kind of like like as an 8 too. Plays for Colorado. He's all right. Comes in, takes all the set pieces.
Did he?
Yeah. It's okay. Like some of these guys I don't think have a future, but like I said, there's a lot of like U.S. national team fans out there that just project things out in the future. Like, oh, he's young and pretty good. Like he'll be in every camp, but like it doesn't work out like that. These guys go through spells, especially young guys. So like they might get called up as like a promising 20-year-old, but might just be like a steady 22-year-old that doesn't get called up. And then by the time they're 25 or 26, like, oh, he's killing it in MLS or he's killing it here. Let's call him up again.
And then there's guys who break out on the scene and like end up getting called up. Like there's plenty of guys out here like that you wouldn't have thought of 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That would be on the team. And that's like almost half the starting lineup. So.
Yeah, exactly. Marco Fafan. So
is that his name?
Yeah.
I didn't even know he played in the game.
Yeah, he subbed in. He actually played a lot of minutes. I think he might have subbed in like a few minutes after halftime. Left back.
Oh, snap.
He's pretty like he's good. I really don't have like any opinions on him. Like some of these left back, especially left back options, it's more like just watch him play and like kind of see where it goes.
Might as well try him out. I mean, we're not too deep at left back.
Yeah, and like anybody is, there's a lot of guys that like try to tell you, oh, this guy's good, this guy will get caught up, this guy won't. Like Berhalter and his staff probably see so much in these trainings that like a 45-minute spell against El Salvador in a friendly with no fans is going to tell you literally nothing. Mm-hmm. Like it might just tell you how he works as a teammate because like
it's more for Greg Berhalter to get to know some of the players. And
I value the practices and what they're saying more than
I would love to see their practices. They should just post like
they post
30-minute long clip of their training session.
They posted a couple clips of like some drills they did over when they were in Europe. One of the drills was it was basically like the attacking team was in their shape, so like a 4-3-3, and it was a big rondo, and they just tried to keep the ball in their shape, and the other team was just pressing. And as soon as they lost the ball, the first team that's in their 4-3-3, they had to win it back and defend the goals. I'll have to shit.
No, I think I saw that one. Was that the one where they were just pinging it around?
Yeah, it was nice.
Satisfying.
Oh, dude, it was great. Kyle Duncan subbed in at right back for Araujo. Yeah. He only got like 10 or 15 minutes. Araujo did have one really bad giveaway.
He got subbed out right after that.
Yeah, but Kyle Duncan's okay. He's, probably 19, 20? 23. Oh, geez. But I had no idea. He plays for the Red Bulls. I don't know.
Soccer fans will say that's too old.
Yeah, which, who knows? Kyle Duncan could be the best right back in the league 2 years from now and get another call-up. Yeah. And then Sebastian Soto subbed in up top for Akinola. Well, Akinola moved over to the wing. He subbed in. So I think Soto subbed in for Areola. Moved Akinola over to the wing for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
But I like Soto. Like I think we said on the last one, like he just scores. Like every time I watch him, I'm like, this guy's going to be good.
Was that the guy who declined the call-up to
Paraguay? Peru? One of them?
Was that him?
Yeah. That was the team. So the unused subs. Walker Zimmerman also subbed in. Solid center back. I don't
remember him subbing in.
Yeah. This goalkeeper from San Jose. I never knew how to.
Martinoski.
Is that how you say his name?
Something like that.
Mauricio Pineda.
Don't know who that is.
Plays for Chicago Fire.
With the UNC, man.
Yeah, so this is a deep camp. And the goalkeeper from he's from Philadelphia.
Another goalie from
CJ Dos Santos.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I have no idea this guy was in camp? Plays for Benfica B. I think they were probably just looking for goalkeepers.
Yeah.
There was a few guys, like they didn't call up Jordan Morris because Seattle was in the MLS Cup Final. They didn't call up Matt Turner, the goalkeeper from New England, because they were in the MLS semifinals. So this wasn't like a full – there might have been like 3 or 4 extra guys that they didn't get to call in. But that's our breakdown. There's there's not a whole lot to take away from these games, I don't think. I think people overestimate them because it's the national team. There's obviously more to take away from the Europe games than this game, too.
Because they're more competitive.
So there'll be a January camp. I'm excited to see that. I just found out today that FIFA's canceling the U17 and U20 World Cups for 2021, which is bad.
Some of our favorite times of the year.
Yeah, that U20, the 2019 U20 World Cup was sick.
Yeah. We watched like every game. The U.S. games.
Yeah, I watched the U17 World Cup. It was in the fall of 19. That was fun. That was Gio Reyna played like up top. They played awful, but it's interesting to see. Yeah. Busio played in that one.
Okay.
So yeah, that's our recap of the national team. You want to get an MLS Cup?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. So, and then 3-0?
And the 3-0 Columbus. For Columbus, Darlington Nagbe and Pedro Santos, who were both starters on Columbus, didn't play because they got COVID. So Seattle was going in this game like huge favorites.
I mean, I would say huge favorites. Columbus was hosting, but they were
going into the game as favorites, and then when Nagbe and Santos were both out, they were like big favorites.
All right.
Trust me, I looked at the lines. What was I gonna say?
Santos and Nagbe, big favorites.
Yeah.
So Columbus kind of like they hosted it because they had the better record, but they shocked everyone, I think, with how they played. They played really well, like just dominated the game. The game started like super fast paced, like it was end to end. We were sitting there like, oh, geez, this is like a really good game, like super entertaining. I think it was the same day that Man United played Man City, and it was like an absolutely terrible game, like super boring 0-0. And then this one was just like a thrilling game.
Yeah. See, I thought it was going to be a bad game. I just feel like that's how MLS, like, finals are like in MLS.
Even the Champions League final, they're very boring, like feeling each other out.
Yeah. It seemed like,
Caleb Porter's a good coach, man.
Yeah, I love Caleb Porter.
I mean, so is the Seattle guy.
His relationship with Darlington Nagbe, and I mean, he's won at Portland. Well, he's won at Akron, he's won at Portland, and now he's won at Columbus, which shows he's a winner.
Yeah.
Just listen to the podcast with him too, and
listen to that.
He's the man. My favorite coach in MLS.
The guy from Columbus. How do you pronounce his name?
Lucas Zelarayan.
Zelarayan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. He's what, Argentinian?
I don't know. I'm not sure what he is.
He was playing in Mexico. He's playing in Liga MX.
Yeah. He came for like $7 million.
Yeah.
To Columbus.
Just a lot of money.
Yeah, and like I didn't know Columbus had that money, but they spent the money to bring him in. Scores 2 goals. Didn't he get the assist too on the?
Yeah, I think
on
so.
The other goal too. He was class on the day.
One of the other storylines was Aiden Morris, who's like a U.S. Youth International. He's like 19 or 20 now. He played 1 season at University of Indiana. Basically just like got put in the game because Nagbe was out. Like Nagbe would have been that center mid, and they're like, nope, we'll give it to this young kid. Nagbe's out with COVID. And he was like killer. Like he was just breaking up plays, like good passes. He started, I think the second goal, he like got stuck in on a tackle, played a nice pass, and started.
He set up 2 of the goals.
I
think he had like he had the thing where he switched out wide for both those goals. So he was really good. We were both impressed. Like we were like, dang, like we don't even know who this guy is. Like, oh, there's another Morris on the field.
Yeah, he's the better Morris, better than Jordan Morris.
Yeah.
Even though I'm still high on Jordan Morris.
Yeah. It just seemed, dude, Seattle didn't have anything that game, really.
Yeah, it was a weird, like, it's a weird game.
Yeah. I know it's been, like, weeks since that game's happened, but
yeah,
I still, like, see things on Twitter all the time about, like, that game still. So.
Yeah, so other than that, there's been some European games and whatever. Well, we figured we'll kind of run down, like, like I said, we always kind of pick like 1 or 2 other topics other than the main one. And one of the ones I picked was like with the MLS Cup happening, Don Garber, the MLS commissioner, is doing all these kinds of like media tours. He's on podcasts, he's on whatever. And one of the things they kept asking him was the report that MLS and Liga MX would merge at some point. And you kind of had some hot takes. What do you think?
I mean, first of all, when he said that it would happen, who did he tell this to? Because I listened to the podcast with Grant Wall.
It's just reports. There's been like reports. I don't think he ever said it.
So he told Grant Wall that it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't seem like anything's really moving right now for it. And I don't think it would happen until MLS, because MLS has 3 new teams coming.
Yeah.
They got Austin this year, Charlotte, and Sacramento the year after. Is that right?
You're missing somebody.
I don't think so.
Austin, Charlotte,
Sacramento. There might be another.
St. Louis.
Oh, it's St. Louis, yeah. So there's 26 MLS teams, and then they got 4 more coming. I don't really like it, and I don't really
see. Nobody's saying they're going to merge next year. It would be
no. That's what I mean. It would be in 3 or 4 years from now.
I would think it'd be in 7 years, or around the time of the 2026 World Cup or something, which is 6 years, maybe even after that. Wow. My thing is without looking at anything, if you just think, look, the Mexican league is so is always the most watched league in the U.S. Think about if there's a meaningful game between Tigres and Nashville. There's so many people now watching Nashville. There's so much money to be made.
See, we were talking about this the other night, and you got me kind of heated. It's just MLS is just searching for money.
Headlines.
I
think they're searching for headlines.
They just want to make as much money as they can. I feel like
that's what anybody does.
Yeah, but they're popping up teams in Nashville, in Cincinnati. What was the other team? Yeah, Charlotte, Sacramento, not huge they're just putting out these teams out there, and none of those teams will I can't say ever compete for the title because they can, but they're never going to be a top team like LAFC, Atlanta.
I don't know. It doesn't need to be a big market because, if you think about it, Philadelphia's a big market, and maybe something would have happened organically, but you put the Union here, and now 10 years later, the Union are just a staple of what we do. People have kids and they grow up watching the Union. So in 15 years, people grow up watching Sacramento Republic or Charlotte. What are they called? Charlotte FC.
Yeah, and that's the reason why the U.S. is behind. They're trying to feel they're really trying to push the growth.
At least there's a style. At least there's one MLS is being a trailblazer, whether you like it or not. They're this is how we're doing it. And then there's USL kind of doing it to a lesser extent. And then you have NISA being no, that's not how we're doing it. We're doing it with real clubs, no expansion fees.
Yeah.
And then I
have 2 things to say. The first one, this doesn't really mean anything, but I don't really like how they name every team the name of the city, then FC. It's too European and everything. This is America.
Yeah, call us the strikers and the kickers.
Yeah, I mean those are cool names.
The Scorpions.
Give them a name that's it's the American way. Thank God they didn't take away the playoffs. Yeah. And just
so you're not happy the Union won the Supporter Shield?
No, I am happy that the Union won. I like that idea, give them a trophy or whatever for winning the Supporter Shield, but I wanted to keep the playoffs, and I don't like how every team's Austin FC, because if you're just a random not big soccer fan in Austin in
does that matter though? You're not going to
new team. It's Austin FC. They'll be why are they called the FC? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're thinking about it it's not just for the non-soccer fans. It's for the soccer fans. They are, but all right. The Union's kind of a dumb. Nobody's going to be did you see the Unions play today? It's not the Eagles.
Nobody says that. They say the Union.
Yes, but people will just grow up with that name. So yeah, it might suck, but it's what people are gonna know. So it's just about getting it out there to me.
I said to someone, I was yeah, you live in Florida, live near Orlando. Did you see the new MLS team? This is when Orlando City came about. And she was no, what was what's the name of the team? And I was Orlando City. She was oh, well, City, that's a weird name for a team. It's someone who doesn't know soccer doesn't really understand
City. Yeah, well, luckily, they'll get coverage on the news and people will know they're a soccer team.
I feel and these teams are just fake to me.
All right, here's the real thing. When you make money in soccer, it's TV rights, it's jersey sales, whatever. It's selling players. It's buying. There's a whole ecosystem to it. when you raise Brendan Aronson for an academy that, I don't know, might cost a few $1 million to run every year, and then you graduate him to the USL, you graduate him to the MLS, and you sell him for $8 million or $6 to $9 million. So like, let's call it 7.5 or whatever. Like, that's how you make money. That Aronson money can go into funding the academy for the next few years. Like, think about Ajax. Like, they're not like, they sell out stadiums, they sell shirts, but like, they sell one guy. They sell Frankie de Jong. I don't even know what he went for, 80 million or something. They sell Frankie de Jong for like 80 million. They're set. Like, that's where the money is.
No, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
But what's the St. Louis team? What are they going to be called? They're going to be called like St. Louis SC, right? And then what's the team in the USL that's now going away?
St. Louis FC.
Okay. So they're creating a new St. Louis team out of nothing.
Yeah.
Just putting this team in there. And then the people who have been following this St. Louis team in the USL for, I don't even know how long, probably like 10 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're taking that team away. It's like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's why, like, we should have a separate podcast about promotion and relegation. But, like, that's the thing is, like, if people support lower level soccer and then, like, some big dog comes in and because he pays the $350 million expansion fee for MLS, he gets to, just put an MLS team there when people are supporting this grassroots team. And, like, I was telling Chad the other night, like, Detroit City FC, they play in Nisa. And, like, there was talks MLS was going to put a team in Detroit, probably big enough market, but like the Detroit City FC fans were like, heck no, like we're not watching that team at all. Like we're boycotting them. Like, but the point is we're not MLS. Yeah. So like it's anti-establishment, like just big money coming in.
Yeah. Can we move back to Liga MX merger?
Yeah, we kind of like split it up. I have some stuff too.
So did you know that Liga MX suspended promotion relegation like with their second league?
Really? Is that because of COVID?
No, because like the second teams like didn't have enough financial stability.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty interesting.
Kind of like similar to
very similar to the
MLS and USL if they were to try that.
Here's part of the thing too. We'll talk about this when we actually talk about promotion relegation. I'm pretty sure Liga MX only had pro rel between the first and second division. The point of promotion relegation is that you're at the grassroots level, and whoever invests and run the best company, the best club, whatever, just like in the market, that team gets to the top. If you have the best people, you're buying and selling players, you're making money, you move up, you invest the most in the team. So if you have to buy your way into the second level, that doesn't make a difference. The point of promotion relegation, let's say in England, if you're in the third tier and you suck, you don't have your crap together, you can go down to the fourth and the fifth tier in the local leagues or whatever. You can keep going down, or you start in the local leagues and keep getting promoted up. Now it's like, might be impossible, but pretty sure RB Leipzig started because the Red Bull Group bought like some random town team and like started from the ground up and just like kept building it up because they're investing the money. So like when I hear that, it kind of makes sense because for a Mexican team, you're not in the top league, so you're not getting that top money. You're not playing Tigres and Club America and whatever. You're just in a worse league, but without the incentives to go get promoted again. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like the only reason there's a second league, like at the championship in England, is like you're in that league because you're better than the third and fourth and fifth tier, but you're not quite at the Premier League level. Liga MX is just like, here's some teams, like go fight it out. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. It's not promotion relegation. It's an open system.
That's why I think, like for MLS to put these like random teams in MLS, new random teams, it's just like they'll never do promotion relegation in this league.
Yeah, I think it'll eventually be like an Eastern and a Western conference or something.
Or if they combine with Liga MX,
it kind of kills the Champions League.
The CONCACAF Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the final was the other night, and we didn't even watch it. And there's an MLS team.
It's also because it was at like 10 p.m.
I didn't even watch the highlights or anything.
But you want to hear something crazy? 16 of the top 30 games in the U.S. on TV were Liga MX games. They were mostly on Unimas, Univision, TUDN. Like over half of the top 30 games. The other ones were like Champions League final, semifinal, quarterfinal, MLS is back final. I think that might have been it. But everything else was Liga MX. there's so much money to be made. And like, they think like, just because like Mexican people are in the country, like they're not necessarily gravitating towards MLS. They might slowly start to go towards their hometown team, but these people are still loyal to their Mexican team as well. So there's so much money to be made. I think if they could do better in the Champions League.
Well, that's because Liga MX or the Mexican League, I don't know how long it's been called Liga, whatever. It's because they like grew up with that team and their families grew up with that team. And now the MLS just kind of wants to like take that and like try and make it part of themselves if they want to like merge.
I guess. What I mean? Yeah. It would be stupid.
If they merged, there would be 30 MLS teams. Like I said, like if you add the 4, and then there's 18 teams in Liga MX.
Mm-hmm.
But they were saying like add 2 to make it like 50 teams, and then do like a promotion relegation.
See, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you getting promoted to? Like, the only thing you're doing is getting relegated to the second league. Like, the only incentive is then to spend more, get promoted, and be in the top league.
Yeah, I agree. I never said I like the merger. I'm just stating the facts. What I'm told, what I'm told from my sources, or they were going to do an MLB format, like with like
divisions.
Yeah, and like they're like
brutal.
What do they call it? The NL and the AL. Like,
and there's some like interleague play.
And like interleague play.
That'd be terrible. I was looking at the transfer market value. I don't know if I'm sure if you're listening, you probably know what transfer market is. It's like the website that like gives values to players, and like it's like a full. Like you can search up just about any professional player and it has like a value, their transfer history. So MLS's total transfer market value, $979.5 million. And that's with whatever, 27 teams, I think, this year. And Liga MX total value is $797 million. That's with 18 teams. So MLS's average per team is $36 million. Liga MX is $44 million. So their teams are more valuable, and like it's probably a better league at the top. And I think what I would assume is you turn on a random MLS game, it's probably as good or a bit higher level than Liga MX. But if you watch a top Liga MX game, it's probably better than top MLS.
Maybe. I mean, if you're turning on Nashville and Cincinnati, like
Nashville's kind of good this year, bro.
They were kind of good this year. Cincinnati and I don't even know. Anyway, I wrote down like how would the MLS owners feel? Because if you think about it, if they were to merge and do like the promotion relegation or anything, but the MLS teams are not as good as Liga MX teams, so they would be at the bottom.
Well, the point is
relegation, they would get relegated.
Well, the point is that money would then come in and you could invest more in the team. But there's way more money to be made now that if you combine the leagues. So whatever the $300 million you bought in for, whatever the union bought in for, something stupid low, like $30 million, I don't know. That now is increased like hundreds of percents because there's that much money in it. The audience is so much bigger.
So, do you want to see the merger?
Not really. I'd rather see a really, really good Champions League, CONCACAF Champions League.
Didn't they try and do like a league with just Liga MX? And
they have a what do they call it?
They still do that, or
the champion? They called it not the Champions Cup, something else, which actually have really good ratings. By the way, it's basically like the top instead of the Champions League, which they still have, they picked a bunch of MLS teams and a bunch of Liga MX teams. I think you had to win something. You either won your conference or supporter shield or whatever, and you play like a group style matches against Liga MX teams. And it was like on weeknights. And Mexican teams took it seriously. MLS teams like took it fairly seriously. I think it was canceled this year, but it seemed like it was a success early on.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, it's probably because one, the union isn't in it, and two, like I don't think much of it, but still like a big deal. They tried it. Like they kind of went halfway with this merger as like, oh, let's see what it does. I think the bigger thing is like, can you promote CONCACAF Champions League more? Which like the CONCACAF Champions League is very like limited. It's basically like how good can these Mexican teams get? How good can these MLS teams get? And then like maybe Canada is like pretty far away with their Premier League, and then you have like random like Costa Rican teams or whatever.
I heard the Canada League's like getting pretty good though.
Really?
Yeah, like I heard it's like it's not like MLS or Liga
No,
MX
when you be
level,
close.
but like it's like getting like pretty good.
It's probably not as good as USL.
I'm gonna start watching it. Hey, let's watch some soccer, eh?
Hey. Yeah, but that's my thoughts. I don't really have any other thoughts. I haven't heard anything more interesting than that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's so far away that no one's really talking about it. But if it happened, it would be insane.
Yeah. I don't know how they would set it up. You know how MLS is. They'll just pull something from like left field and like bring it in like they did with MLS's back.
Which is pretty cool.
Anything. Anything MLS does, like nobody's thought of except for MLS, and then they'll just break it out and they'll just be like, okay.
Yeah. But that's
MLS kind of cracks me up sometimes the way they just
dude, honestly, like, all right, like it's okay to not like MLS because you're more of a promotion relegation guy. It's like expansion fees, whatever, but like they do a good job. Like they're like it's taken a while, and I would have thought like when I bought this jersey, I was a big Union fan, whatever. I would have thought MLS would have been so much further along. I would have thought Mobio Kugo would have gotten sold to Europe and Breckshay would have succeeded in Europe and whatever. But maybe we were just 8 years too early. But now that we have, you know, what I say, like our ducks in a row and whatever, like we're selling players already. It's starting. Like the FC Dallas right back, Brian Reynolds, like he's about to get sold like Juventus or Roma or whatever. Like once it starts, like the floodgates are open. The league is legit now. People have their identities.
Yeah. I heard someone say it's because like now European teams know that there's talent in the U.S. and they can get them like so much cheaper than they can in South America. Like I forget who said it. I was listening to a podcast and they were like, some dude in South America can score a goal and go for 15 million.
Yeah.
But the dude's just as good or might be a little bit worse in the MLS, and he goes for a few million.
I think maybe it took so long because like I feel like people here knew there was like some good soccer going on, but like if one or two guys don't work out and we don't have like the people like that prove that we were right, then like no one really trusts it. And when you don't trust something in soccer, like the details are so like small, you know what I mean? So like if there's a Brazilian and an American and they're at the same level, like and if the Brazilian just has even an edge, like people are gonna be like, oh, he's Brazilian, much better than the American. But now that like guys are proving that they could play over in Europe, like people are like, oh wait, these players are like just as good, a little bit cheaper. Like these maybe that, you know, they probably invite European teams to go visit their academies and whatever. They probably know like, oh, these guys like know what they're doing. There's good soccer here now.
Yeah. I'm in the mood for some promotion relegation talk, but I guess we can save it for another podcast.
But see, even when we do that, I was thinking like we do that, you know, in the coming months, like would we talk about promotion relegation? You could read an article or hear a story and then like it might change like your mind. Like there's what we know, there's always like so much more. Like we could do an episode tomorrow and like in 2 months we might be like, oh yeah, like we forgot about this. Let's add this. So like the story isn't complete. Yeah. Like I'd have to sit down for like months and like write like a legit report to get like my full thoughts in, you know?
You gonna do that? Send it my way.
Maybe. I have some good notes on like other podcast topics I think would be pretty cool. Past few episodes, we've gotten away from a lot of the, you know, like I love talking about like youth soccer and like what I think works and how to develop players. So maybe we get back to that or like some soccer training stuff. Like I said, I don't want this to just be like, oh, what happened this week in soccer? Because then the episodes get old, you know? Mm-hmm. But like if someone could go back to this and be like, oh, what did these guys say? I don't know.
Yeah, if someone like from 5 years from now wants to hear our thoughts on
when Liga MX and MLS merge.
I was gonna say from the guys who played in the El Salvador friendly in December. They want to know what we thought of them. They can.
Julian Araujo and Djordje Mihailovic are going to be playing for Baton Rouge FC in MLS, who then merge with the Liga MX.
Yeah,
and then
Mihailovic will be playing in he'll be playing in USL League 2.
League 2, but at that point, USL League 2 is fully professional. Aiden Morris scored the game winner in the 2026 World Cup
and Champions League.
Yeah, and then what are you doing? You're
I'm
playing in the Canadian Premier League. Yeah.
For Ottawa.
I don't even know who.
I just named it.
Yeah.
City.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about? This was probably a pretty short episode, right? Maybe like 40 minutes or so. That's all I have. Like I said, like probably different topics coming out, but Chad's home. And like, even if, maybe one of us gets on here and just goes in on a topic and we don't need like a full discussion too. I don't know.
Yeah.
So more episodes coming soon. Definitely more frequently too. Like
Yeah. What about the giveaway?
Oh, for the wristbands?
Yeah. You gonna announce that?
So I put one giveaway on my personal TikTok page, and then I'm gonna do another giveaway on our Instagram page. So make sure like you follow that, and then we'll do the typical like tag 2 friends or something like that. But I'm gonna give away the other one first, and then I know which bracelet I'm gonna give away on the Instagram page, because they're 2 different teams. One's like a Barcelona one, one's an Arsenal one. So yeah. Unless you want one of those, and you can have the US one.
We'll see.
Anyway, yep. All right. So is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's episode 15.
All right. Merry
Peace.
Christmas, guys.